Well, hello. I think I'm live. Let me see if there we are. Yep. All right. I think we got it now. Well, anyway, welcome to episode 8 of the Employees of the Month. I don't think we have anybody in here yet, but maybe hopefully somebody will pop in here before too awful long. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and get started though because I don't know if anybody is gonna pop in or not, so it doesn't make sense to sit around. Um, So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it, and I'll probably just upload this afterwards, and we'll see what goes. But anyway, so we have the Rookie 2002 Disney family drama baseball movie. Um, Overview: Jim Morris never made it out of the minor league before a shoulder injury ended his pitching career 12 years ago. Now a married man with children, high school chemistry teacher, and baseball coach in Texas, Jim's team makes a deal with him. If they win the district championship, Jim will try out with a major league organization. The bet proves innocent enough for the team, and they go from worst to first, making it to state for the first time in the history of the school. Jim forced to live up. Excuse me. Jim, forced to live up to his end of the deal, is nearly at tryout laughed off the tryout field until he gets to the mound, where he confounds the scouts and himself by clocking successive 98 mile per hour fastballs, good enough for a minor league contract with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Jim's contract got a lot. Jim still got a lot of pitches to throw before he makes the show, but with his big league dreams revealed, there's still no telling where he'd go. And it looks like we got somebody in here. We got somebody else in here. Go ahead and comment in the chat and see if we can figure out who you are. Anyway, this is based on a true story, the real story of Jim Morris, who actually ended up playing with the Devil Rays in real life. He didn't throw 98. He only threw 95, 96, but still very impressive for that time, which, of course, 95 is not very impressive nowadays. But, I mean, you got players like Shohei Ohtani pitching 100 on the regular. But anyway, the overall score is not going to be popping up because we only have 8 voters, but my friends with benefits is 78 and I gave it a 98. So it's clearly at least a entertaining movie. It's worth a watch. Our oldest review here on Criticless is Majestation for 90%. He gave no additional review. And we have Chalk Demon, great guy, gave it 75. And he gave some spoilers. I have not read this review. I've not read any of the reviews, only my own. So we're going to this blind. But Chalk Demon says 75. I'm a sucker for this type of movie. A former high-end prospect washes out and falls in. Hey, looks like we got Superfly 1234. Superfly, how you doing, buddy? Great to have you in here. Glad you could join us. Anyway, he makes a deal with his team that is bad. They keep managing, that is bad. That if they manage to make the playoffs, he'll try out for the bigs. Through hard work, it happens, and in keeping his word, gives it a go. And turns out the old dog, by pro sports standards, can get can throw gas. This is definitely a classic feel good sports movie made for all ages. It is acted well and shot well. Dennis Quaid, Rachel Griffiths, and Agnes T. Jones have a great family chemistry. All the other actors have a great job. Do a great job. This is definitely a must watch and one I own personally. And that's not a bad idea, honestly. I probably should own it myself. Baseball movies are always going to be high on my list, and this one's up there with them. We got Bulldog. He says 18th review, a family movie night favorite, a movie of restoration and overcoming the odds. Perfect. I mean, yeah, a family movie night favorite, and a movie of restoration and overcoming the odds. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a movie with to watch with your family, this is it. Like, it's a classic feel good story. Um, there's not a whole lot special about it. I mean, you pretty well know what's going to happen, but it's just a nice, fun, feel good story. It makes you feel good, and it's inspiring, and especially inspiring based on that it's based on real life. We got to see. Superfly says it didn't get around to watching, or I didn't get around to watching this, but but I did see it in theaters when it came out. Did you enjoy it when it came out in theaters? Or do you really remember? I'll wait on him to respond, but I'll go ahead and look at this. Dragon Force Cards says 78%. It's another great baseball movie. And that's it. It is a great baseball movie. I would have loved some more context. I need to be liking these reviews, by the way. All right, For the Users was the first one to review it with the actual employees of the month. Got some Steppenwolf as the music. Extremely valid. She gave it an 82%. Says when in his 90s, cellist Pablo Caslis was asked why he still practices several hours a day. His response, because I think I'm making progress. I caught this movie randomly on TV a long time ago, and for some reason it stuck with me, despite the fact that I somehow thought Mel Gibson was the star. I don't know why. Dennis Quaid and Mel Gibson look nothing alike. Over the years, I forgot about well, I'll say this. They have a similar acting style, so I could sort of see it. They have a similar screen presence to one another, although I would say Mel Gibson is much out of Dennis Quaid's level. But I could actually understand that. So fair enough. Over the years, I forgot most of the details, but some moments like the speed limit sign never faded. I'm not the biggest sports movie fan, but certain ones hit that inspirational note just right to reach beyond their subject matter. This is one of those. Rewatching now when I was a little older than rewatching now. Hey, we got Eero2567 says, I'm always pleasantly surprised when Disney has their movies on Tubi. Yes, great point. I am too, because Disney is the evil empire, and anything that they can put on Disney Plus, they will put on Disney Plus. I'm actually very surprised. This is one of my favorites from when I was a child. I was really glad it was on Tubi. I'm glad that we were able to pick it for the Employees Month. I mean, I picked it myself, but anyway, thank you for your comment. Anyway, where was that? Rewatching now when I'm a little older than Jim Morris. I'm a little older than Jim Morris was when he made his MLB debut. It hit different than it did when I was a teenager. In general, by your mid-30s, if not sooner, you start to realize you can't do all the things you could in your 20s. If you're active in your youth, you're probably going to get injuries in youth. That was me. If you're unlucky and or stupid, I was both, so was I. Some of these will become chronic. Even without that, joints start to degrade tendons and ligaments. Tendons and ligaments lose their flexibility. Hearing may start to go, and healing in general takes longer. Hormones like testosterone begin declining around age 30 as well, making it more difficult to build and maintain muscle. Even neuroplasticity declines, which makes it harder to learn new things in the first place. When all that happens, it can be difficult to keep the same level of motivation and confidence that you once had. You start to let go of your dreams that now seem out of reach. And if you're not careful, you might stop doing things entirely, especially in the modern world where it's easy to just spend all of your time doom scrolling. After all, what's the point if you've already peaked? The advantages of youth aren't all the tools you have. You just need to learn to use your new ones. You can still make progress. It might just look a little different. And this is okay. Actually, it's not that long. In some cases, as in this movie, overcoming that deject feeling is one of those tools. You'll never ever get your younger body back. That shouldn't stop you from still trying to do things. Sure, most people weren't recruited for MLB at age 35, but most people don't do that at any age. The point isn't what he did; it's the willpower he regained to try in the first place. Despite his age, despite his past injuries, and despite his self-doubt, he did it. Even if he hadn't made it to the league, he still coached the teenagers to a winning season, kept his promise to them, and became a hero his son needed. It's a great point. Now, is the story now is the real story as inspirational as the movie? Almost certainly not. They really are. I know marriage in the movie is different from real life, as they were separated by the time he got recruited, but I have no idea about the rest of it. However, I don't need a movie like this to be completely accurate. I need it to give me something to aspire to. I need it to remind me that I can still start something new and do great things even in my past my prime. Now, there are also plenty of criticism that can be levied here. For one, Dennis Quaid is way too old for the part. Yes, he really, really is. I mean, you can tell he's way older than 35. Uh, I mean, again, I'm not mad that he is in this movie, because one of the things I pointed out when I said I was choosing this movie is that he was in it and he does a good job. But yeah, he's way too old to be 35. And if you go back and look at the actual clips from Jim Morris's actual game, Jim Morris looks way younger than Dennis Quaid. Anyway, where was that? Way too old for a bit. Maybe they were using him as visual hyperbole to emphasize the age factor without outright stating it, possibly. But dude does not look anywhere near 35. Also, a good 10 to 15 minutes could have probably been cut from the first half of the movie to help out the runtime. Yeah, it's pretty long. It's a little over 2 hours. And I mean, I thought it was most of it was fairly necessary, but I could see that. That's a fair criticism. Uh, as is, this is really two movies. The first half with him learning to coach his team by challenging them more. And the second half with him trying out for the pro leagues. Don't get me wrong, they're both great sports movies, but the build up to the second half felt like it dragged a bit because the first half took so long. I even forgot about the nuns by the end because I had to stop and start a few times. Yeah, that's actually a good point. The second half does feel like it drags, and I know because it's important to show that he had even after he made the team, he didn't start out with the Devil Rays. He had to work his way up from minor league, which is something, if you don't know baseball, I explained it in my review, how the minor leagues and major leagues interact with each other. So it was important for that reason, but they probably dragged it on a little bit too much. They could have done montage style and cut some stuff out, because a lot of the stuff they set up with his relationships with the other players, it never really pays off in any way. I mean, they make fun of him for being old, and I guess it pays off when he gets called up and he proves them wrong, but not really. So all of that personal drama could have been cut out. So I'll agree with that. And I forgot about the nuns as well. So that could have been completely cut from the movie, if I'm being honest. I have no clue if the nuns part of the story is real life, or if that's just for the movie. But either way, it could have been cut completely. Also, and I may be the only person bothered by this, but his middle finger, it just doesn't exist for the first half. His middle daughter just doesn't exist for the first half, and then suddenly appears in the second, as if she'd been there the whole time. I know middle children are often forgettable, but did they have to make it that literal? Overall, I mean, Hollywood had really perfected the sports movie genre by the early 2000s, and this is a great example of that. Sure, it's cliche at times, and it's on a lot of familiar beats, but if you like that sort of thing, this is right on target. Maybe it's a bit romanticized, but I think that worked in this film's favor rather than against it. It's heartwarming and inspirational, which is not the type of movie I usually go for, but this is the one that I love despite that. Hazel out. And I'll say this with this part right here. She says maybe it's a bit romanticized. To quote Billy Bean in Moneyball, which came out about 10 years after this, how can you not be romantic about baseball? If I was interested, I'm just going to leave this here. I'm going to click this link and see what this is. Okay, yeah, I can't play that. Yeah, I can't play that because of copyright. But anyway, Hazel / For the Users, always a fantastic review. Like always, gotta give that a like. Don't know how it doesn't have more. She deserves more than 27 likes. People, give her more likes. All right. Caveat Ties, aka Rolland. He was on last episode for episode 7. Go check that out. Rolland is a great guy. He gave it a 78, a little bit lower than I would have liked, but still respectable. He says, a sincere and beautifully heartwarming story filled with inspiration. This movie pulls at the heartstrings effectively. I watched it with my family, and it's a great family film. No cynicism, great performances, shows the real dynamic of small town life and the struggles of following one's dreams. I knocked the score down for most excellent because this movie's doing too much. It's sort of a gob of stories as opposed to just one, and some elements drag out, and I found myself saying, okay, I get the point. Let's move on. This made parts of it a chore to watch. Still a great movie. And that's all fair criticism, to be honest. He kind of pointed out some of the same things that For the Users was saying. He did add that it's a gob of stories as opposed to one. But the elements dragging out, and I get it, the point, let's move on. That's pretty much the same criticisms that For the Users gave it. Let's see what she said. I kept it at my score most excellent, but just a few points higher than yours. It's definitely doing too much and ends up dragging. I could agree. That's true. Hold on just a second. All right. Yeah, got that taken care of. And I do apologize. My voice might not be that great. I have had some allergy problems. I could barely speak at all the other day. So my voice may be a little bit, my voice may be a little bit weird, but I think we're good. Anyway, let's see. So we got caveat ties. PP Dribble gave it a 77%. Said, I came into this movie in a bad mood and came out feeling better. And that's what classic Disney does to you, though. But like classic Disney was great at that. It's a classic underdog sports story that's been done thousands of times, but this is expertly crafted. The plot moves along like clockwork, and Dennis Quaid has some great acting moments, especially the phone call scenes with his family in the third act. The cheesy parts are even digestible for lactose intolerant film goers. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. That's really funny. Let's see. The cheesy parts are even digestible for lactose intolerant film goers. Yeah, I'm gonna steal that. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then he says, whoa, hold on. Give me just a second. I messed some up. All right. I do have a few petty nitpicks. Does Jim Morris have any flaws other than being old? Everyone from Big Lake showed up to the Major League game, even though they didn't 100% know if Jim Morris was going to pitch. What if he didn't? Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Snellinator says, it's about time you live stream. No, I'm just kidding. Well, you should have watched the movie and come on with me. Or you should have suggested it to me sooner. Nobody suggested the live streaming to me, honestly. I had to come up with myself. By the way, you're no one to be talking. You haven't even been on an episode in like I don't even know how long. Let's see. You were not on episode 7. You were not on episode 6. You were not on episode 5. I think the last one you were on was episode 4, Legally Blonde. That was like a month ago. So don't even, Snellinator. Just kidding. Anyway, none of the old guys aged a bit after 30 years. Oh, yeah, that was really bad. But yeah, great review. Hey, Jeremy Allen. Hey, dude, what's going on? He says, I Miss Good Movies here, by the way. Yeah, so in case anybody didn't know, that is I Miss Good Movies. I didn't think I wasn't going to say that it was I Miss Good Movies, but he said it himself. So there he is. Everybody say hello to I Miss Good Movies. Welcome. Glad to have you. Yeah, man. But she says, yeah, man, I was feeling bad during the game scene where he was just benched most of the time since everyone was there. Yeah, and that was the problem. See, so like I just explained in my review, Jim Morris was a reliever. You have 5 relievers on the team, and you're not guaranteed to play every game. You'll usually have 1 starter play, and then maybe 2 relievers play, and they might finish out the game, or the 3rd reliever might finish out the game, or the closer might finish out the game. So you're really not guaranteed to play as a reliever, but they all showed up. And I know it's for drama, but let's see. Hold on. I'm just four users just responded to my comment. Uh, but anyway, yeah, like it's for drama purposes. It's for drama purposes, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense, and it's definitely something that they should have done the homework on prior to doing the film. All right, let's get back to the reviews. All right, so we got everybody except for myself. And I put this video of Jim Morris, his opening day game, and a couple of his other games on there. If y'all should really go give it a watch, it's interesting. I'm not gonna play it for copyright reasons, but y'all should definitely go give it a watch and see what it's like. So, like I said, to quote Billy Beane in Moneyball, how can you not be romantic about baseball? Since we're in the middle of the baseball season, I chose this movie for the Employees of the Month via executive decision. Baseball movies are the best kinds of sports film, and this one is no different. It's a classic Disney heartwarming film. I'll start this review by adding context to the movie because I'm assuming that 98% of you reading this know nothing about baseball. The pro baseball realm is fairly confusing if you didn't grow up with it, but don't worry, I'll summarize it very simply. And also, if anybody here in the chat gets confused by something I'm saying at any point, comment and I will explain it a little bit better. Crap. Zuberfly says, "Oh, hey, Jeremy Allen." All right, but yeah, if there's at any point there's something that I say and you need a little more explanation, just comment and I will explain it a little bit more. But we're gonna jump straight into the explanation. So, the highest pinnacle of pro baseball is the MLB, Major League Baseball. The MLB consists of two baseball leagues, the National League and the American League. A long time ago, these two rival leagues decided to put their differences aside and respect each other's player contracts, hold a yearly joint player draft, and face their champions against each other in the World Series. So a little more context on that. The National League and the American League have their own championships. It's called the American League Championship Series and the National League Championship Series. So the winners of the National League and the winners of the American League play in the World Series, in case y'all didn't know that. So that's what that means. That's what the World Series is. The World Series is the champion of the American League and the champion of the National League playing each other. So over time, the differences between the two leagues have blurred. They now have what's called interleague play, which allows teams from different leagues to play each other during the regular season, which wasn't always the case. Before this, teams could only play teams from other leagues in the World Series. So you could only play teams within your own league. And now it's even gone so far that you have to play everybody during the regular season. So there's 30 teams in the MLB, 15 in one league, 15 in another league, and you have to play all 29 other teams in your league. You play the teams in your division in 4 series. You play every team in your league in 2 series, and you play every team from the other league in 1 series. Let's see. As of very recently, the leagues no longer have different rule sets from each other, further blurring lines. So it was very recently. I think it was like 2019. The National League officially adopted the DH position, which is designated hitter. So that means pitchers don't have to hit. The American League has had this since its inception. Pitchers don't have to hit. And it's because pitchers are usually not very good at hitting. Now, the National League didn't have that position. They made pitchers hit. And so it added a little different dynamic. And whoever the home team was set the rules. Jeremy Allen says, baseball is weird in Australia. We play it all the time throughout our school years, but it doesn't exist as a spectator sport. See, that's really interesting. The Australian baseball team is not very good either at the World Baseball Classic. So that there might be that. It might be kind of like how America's bad at soccer because people only really play on the playground, but we don't really care about it in general. So I guess my question would be, do Australians like baseball? Like, do they like to watch baseball, and there's just no league to watch, or they just not care about it enough to create a league? That would be my question. Like, does the MLB exist in Australia? Like obviously it does. Do you play cricket? Yeah, well, I think British people play cricket, but maybe Australians do too. So my question though would be: is the primary viewing of baseball in Australia the MLB, or do y'all just not watch baseball at all? That would be my question. Anyway, you can get back to me on that. But yeah, the National League didn't have a designated hitter, which added a little different, a little bit more. It added a little bit more strategy onto it. And whoever the home team was, they played by those league's rules, and it was really fun. But now those rules are pretty much gone. It's kind of sad. But anyway, most professional sports have what's called a farm system. The baseball farm system is called the minor leagues. So we have the minor league and the major league. Major league is the MLB. Minor league is the MILB. Like hockey has a farm league. It's a little bit less, like, I guess it's a little bit less organized. Excuse me. I would say than the minor league system. But baseball has a farm league as well. They call it the G League. You've probably heard of it before, but yeah, baseball has the minor league. Oh, Jeremy Allen says we play cricket and we watch it too. Nobody really watches baseball as far as I know, but we love playing it. I have no idea why. So there's just no demand for baseball as a viewing medium at all. So that is very interesting. I don't think America really has. I always try and draw parallels to like American stuff or whatever, so that way I can kind of make the connection in my head. But I don't think America really has anything like that. I guess the only thing I can really think of would be video games. A lot of people like to play video games, but not necessarily everyone who plays video games likes to watch video games. That's still a stretch because video games is still a big market, like on YouTube and stuff. Anyway, the minor league, every major league team has a single A, high A, double A, and triple A team, also called single A, high A, double A, triple A. This is where they send players when they are signed and or drafted out of high school or college, or of course at a tryout. If they're really good with high expectations, they usually start with the triple A team. If they're a regular rookie, they'll start with the double A team. Low expectation players with tryout signings usually go to the single A or high A team. And of course, if a player who was previously playing with the major league team gets injured, when he comes back from injury, he'll usually spend some time with the AAA team before returning back to the major league team. So let's see, Jeremy Allen. We are the same as America when it comes to soccer. So Australia really doesn't like soccer. That's interesting. I thought Australia loved soccer. This has been a very educational stream for me. So Australia's primary sport, would it be rugby or footy? Would that be like Australia's American football or the UK's soccer or Brazil's soccer? I guess it would be probably rugby or footy. Anyway, I'll let you get back to me on that. There are also a plethora of rookie leagues, though not every team has a rookie league team. But I mean, there are 30 MLB teams, and there are like, I don't know, 150 rookie league teams because there are a lot of rookies that get signed every single year. But not every team has a rookie league team because a lot of teams are very, very cheap. And then some teams, like the Dodgers, have 40 rookie league teams because they're rich and sign everybody. That's why they're the back-to-back defending champs of the National League and the World Series. Let's see. And, of course, as a player underperforms or overperforms, they move up and down the ladder, move from one level to another. If they get called from the major league team to or if they get called from the minor league team to the major league team, it's called being called up. So they say, oh, such and such was called up. Drake Baldwin was called up, player for the Braves. And of course, you can move from the AA team to the major league team. You don't have to move up individually, but that's just usually how it happens. Injuries, of course. Duh. So here's the example that I left on the review. My favorite team, the Atlanta Braves. Oh, we're so bad right now, by the way. We at one point were the best team in the league, and now the bats are cold. The bats are so cold. We've lost. I don't know. I think we're probably like 1-20, or not one. I think we're 3-20 or something like that in our last 23 or 25 games, something like that. 3-22 or 3-20. We have no offense. A historically bad June for offense. Jeremy Allen says, "Okay, footy depends where you're from. I'm from NSW. Wait a minute. I know what that means. NSW is it's the island, right? The island off Australia. New South Wales. No, I'm wrong. Tasmania is the island. Sydney. That's right. You've told me that you live in Sydney. Sydney is in New South Wales. Okay, I knew that. Sydney's not on the island. Yeah, New South Wales. You've told me that you lived in Sydney. I don't know. I knew Sydney was on the East Coast. I don't know why I thought it was the island. Anyway, he said New South Wales, so it's rugby league for me. But if you're from Victoria or South Australia, it's AFL. Is AFL is what is AFL? It's only soccer if you're an immigrant. So yes, pardon my ignorance. What is the AFL? American football or no? Australian Football League? Footy League? I can look it up. AFL in Australia. Australian Football League. So all Australian rules football. I was born on Norfolk Island. That could be the confusion. AFL is Aussie rules. I don't think you've ever told me that. I think I'm just being dumb. But thanks for trying to make me look smart. Actually, no. We're gonna go with your excuse. It makes me look smarter. Yeah, you told me that you was born on that island, and that's why I'm confused. Yeah, that makes me smarter. I'm gonna go with that. Australians. Okay, interesting though. Aussie rules. I'm gonna look into that. That's very interesting. See, so my favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles, we actually have a player from Australia. Used to play rugby. His name's Jordan Mailata. He was really, really good. You actually might know him. His name's Jordan Mailata. He plays left tackle for us. And he is. Hold on. Jordan Mailata. Yeah, there it is. Let me share this screen instead. You might know him, Jeremy Allen. If it'll start sharing. Yeah, there we go. Do you know him? Jordan Mailata. He was born in Bankstown. I don't know where that's at. But he played rugby in Australia, and now he plays with the Philadelphia Eagles, my favorite team. He's dang good, too. So I'm definitely going to look into the AFL, the Australian Football League with the Australian rules. But, yeah, we got a player. You should look into him. Also, by the way, if you ever decide you do want to become interested in American football, you know which team to root for. Not only because it's my favorite team and I'm your best friend in the entire world, but also he's Australian. So anyway, what I was going to say, yeah. So my favorite team is the Atlanta Braves. We're terrible now. Don't pity me. I'm used to it. The AAA affiliate for the Braves is the Gwinnett Stripers. The Braves pitcher, Spencer Strider. Hey, Bob Loves Movies. How are you doing, buddy? Anyway, the Braves pitcher Spencer Strider when he was rehabbing his injury from last year, he played with the Stripers for a couple games, rehabbing his injury, which he's back on the injury reserve list. Good to hear that, Bob Loves Movies. But he's back on the injury reserve now, but he played some games with the Stripers before coming back. The Double-A team is the Columbus Clingstones. They're in the same league as my favorite minor league team, the Chattanooga Lookouts. Let's see, Jeremy. I know the name. Bankstown is in the western suburbs of Sydney, over in the eastern suburbs. By the way, I quite like American football and baseball. Nice. Well, if you need an NFL team to root for, now you know which one to root for. And baseball, don't be a Braves fan. If you ever do decide to start watching baseball, do not be a Braves fan. Be a Dodgers fan. It's so much easier. Just trust me on this. Being a Braves fan is cruel and unusual punishment, and the Dodgers have infinite money. Root for them. But yeah, that's I actually said it right here. My favorite minor league team, Chattanooga Lookouts, are the Double-A affiliate for the Cincinnati Reds. But they're in the same league as the Columbus Clingstones. Another example is World Series. Bobo's movies. Being a Dodgers fan wasn't fun when I was a kid. Well, it's fun now. It's very fun now. Being a Braves fan is cruel and unusual punishment. It can't be worse than being a Braves fan, though. It can't be worse than being a Braves fan. The 90s. Fortunately, I didn't live through the 90s. But people who lived through the 90s and through today, that's I can't imagine. But anyway, another example is Freddie Freeman, who plays for the Dodgers now, by the way. I still miss him. He said in 2007 he was drafted, and he didn't move. He moved all the way up until finally being moved up in 2010, being called up in 2010, where he won a World Series with us and then moved to the Dodgers and won 2 more World Series. And then, of course, another one is Elly De La Cruz. He played for the Chattanooga Lookouts. I remember seeing him in person. Now he plays with the Cincinnati Reds, which the Cincinnati Reds are terrible too. But anyway, so that's pretty much baseball. Nobody had any questions. I guess everybody kind of got it. But anyway, that is what Jim Morris did in real life and what the movie portrays. He goes to a tryout, gets signed, moves up through the minors until eventually being called up to play the Major League Tampa Bay Devil Rays. So I messed up a little bit right there. He doesn't move up. He actually originally was signed to the AAA team and only had to move up once. But so I misspoke a little there. And then, of course, I already explained this paragraph, how pitchers work. But anyway, this movie is super heartwarming, super motivational, beautiful story. Superfly says, I get the idea of playing over watching. I get bored watching baseball, but playing is fun, or was fun. Watching at a stadium is awesome, Joel, but I never got into going out all the time. Man, that's understandable, but I'll tell you what, I could spend every single weekend at the ballpark. Baseball is my favorite sport to go to in person. I've been to all the big four as far as American sports go. I've been to multiple football games, multiple basketball games, multiple baseball games, and I've been to a hockey game. I'm planning on going back this season. And hockey was actually really fun in person, but baseball is still the best. Baseball is my favorite sport to watch in person. Anyway. I forgot best sport in person is college football at a rivalry game. Yeah, see, I've never been to I'm an Alabama fan, and I have been to a bunch of games, but I've never gone to one of the rival games because they're too expensive. I want to go to Tennessee one year. Jeremy Allen says beer, hot dogs, and nachos. I mean, yeah, that is the classic baseball, but you forgot funnel cake. That's also the classic baseball meal. Beer, hot dogs, nachos, and funnel cake. Anyway, I was saying something. I don't remember what it was. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I've been to Ole Miss. That was the closest thing I've been to as far as rivalry goes. And I've been to. Let's see. My dad and my brothers went to Alabama a few years ago. They got to catch the game against LSU. Yes. So when I was in middle school, my middle school science teacher went to the Alabama LSU game every single year, no matter if it was in Tuscaloosa or in Baton Rouge. and she always loved it. Her and her husband did. Superfly says, I actually love the big salted pretzels. Yeah, that's another classic. I forgot about it. EREO. This episode is ad. It wasn't supposed to have ads. Is that what you're saying? It has ads? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. I thought I set it to no ads. Oh, ADHD. My fault. Yeah. Well, I am ADHD, so that'll explain it. That's why I normally try and have a guest on to keep me reeled in, but we didn't. I don't have a co-star this week. I need somebody to help keep me reeled in. I'm very ADHD, not medicated either, so that makes it worse. What was I saying? Oh yeah, my middle school science teacher went to Alabama LSU every year, no matter where it was at. They loved it. I'm gonna go to Alabama, Tennessee one of these days, and then I was gonna say something else. My fault. It's my fault if it's ADD. No, it's both of our faults. I'm extremely ADHD, but I'm not. I'm unmedicated, and it used to be worse, but I have gotten better as I got older. I think that's all I was gonna say. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Alabama Tennessee game, or I'm gonna go to Tennessee Auburn game, Tennessee LSU game. One of the three. I'd love to go to Tennessee Georgia game, but Ole Miss was the closest thing I went to a rivalry game. Actually, I was at last year's Alabama Vanderbilt game, which isn't a rival, but it was one of our. I mean, we were really hyped up for that game because it was revenge. You know, Vanderbilt beat us 2 years ago, and Diego Pavia was talking all that trash, and there was a bunch of nerds at that game wearing Vanderbilt stuff, and they. It's always your fault, Jeremy Allen. LOL. Sorry for distracting you, Bob. It is always his fault. No, I'm just kidding. But that game wasn't a rivalry game, but it was really, really tense. And I seen two people arguing, almost getting in a fight. But anyway, I'll close it off. I'll go ahead and say I could close it with what I opened with. How can you not be romantic about baseball? And if you haven't seen Moneyball, the quote that I'm pulling this from, go watch Moneyball. It's an all-time great sports movie. For user says, as someone who knows very little about baseball, though I agree that it makes the best sports movie, this is an interesting read. I was wondering why he changed teams so quickly in the movie. Well, this is an excellent executive decision. I think only a few of us watched it, but I think it's a great movie. I agree, and I will be bringing the vote back next week. But I was sick with allergies. I wasn't sick. I was having allergies, and I was running out of time because I had already wasted a week. And so I was like, I just need to get something out. And I was going to put this one up to vote anyway, so I just went ahead and picked it. But I am going to come back with a vote. And I reckon that's all I got to say. I'll go ahead and sign off unless anybody else has anything they want to say real quick. I'll give it 1 minute if anybody wants to say anything. Hurry up, or I'm going to cut it off. All right, well, it doesn't look like anybody's got anything, so I'm going to go ahead and end it. Thank you all for showing up. Oh, all right. Bob Goes says, glad I got to catch the show for a bit. Yeah, it was only 45 minutes, but thank you for showing up, buddy. If I can get when I have a co-host, we could probably go for a long time if I really, really allowed us to. But yeah, thanks for showing up, man. Always grateful. But anyway, Major League is one of the great sports films. It is. Major League. I was actually just talking about this with one of my coworkers. One of my coworkers actually played college baseball with Tennessee. He's from our area. He's a decent bit older than me. He's probably like, I don't know, maybe mid-40s, early 40s. But he played college baseball with Tennessee back in the day. And we've talked a little bit about playing baseball because I played baseball too, not at the college level, but anyway, yeah. Major League, one of the best. So anyway, we was talking about like what our favorite sports movies were because I knew I was going to do this episode this evening, and we'd come up with a couple of them. Coach Carter, the Samuel L. Jackson movie, basketball movie, is a good one. Major League, you have Rookie of the Year is a good one. Moneyball. Let's see. 8 Men Out is a good one. Another good one is football movie, Facing the Giants, and Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans is a really good one. But anyway, yeah, there are a lot of really good sports movies. Baseball movies usually are the best of the bunch. A League of Their Own, yes, A League of Their Own is amazing. See, Tom Hanks used to be one of my favorite actors, but prior to finding out about the Epstein stuff. But yeah, and A League of Their Own is really good. Another one is Space Jam, not the sequel, the original one. The sequel is trash. LeBron James wishes he was Michael Jordan. LeBron James couldn't play in the 90s. He just couldn't. Michael Jordan would have a heyday in today's NBA. And for that matter, Larry Bird would have a heyday in today's NBA. All right. Well, anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. I'm actually, real quick, I'm going to test this. Does this do what I think it does? It does. Because this is my first live stream, so I'm still figuring this stuff out. What does this star do? I'm not sure what that star does. I'm going to have to play around with this a bit. I'm going to have to do like a test stream. I'm going to have to do a test stream and play around with some of this stuff. Jeremy Allen says, I know it's weird, but I love the statistics in baseball. Yes, math makes sports fun. Yes, that's why I like baseball and football so much, because you have to actually know what you're talking about to watch the game. Like, you can't just watch football. You can't just, like American football. You can't just watch baseball. I mean, you can, but you're not really getting the full experience unless you know the stats, unless you know the way baseball works. Unless you know all those things. And same with football, unless you know what responsibility a corner has. So what's going to be the next movie? I'm not sure yet. We're going to put it up on vote. You can join the Criticless group. I will put the link in. Let me see if I can put the link in. I'll come up with a couple of different movies, and I'll choose 3 people to vote for it. And we'll decide the movie that way. I think I can link the Criticless group if you have a Criticless account. Yeah, there it is. Copy link. So I'm gonna put the link to. I'm gonna put the link right here. That's the link to the Criticless group. If you have a Criticless account, go join it. And you might get chosen to be a voter. Zuberfly says, let's watch the Bratz movie. I think I looked for it a while back and I couldn't find it, but I will look for it again. I think you suggested it before. I'll look for it again, and if I can find it, I'll put it up. Jeremy Allen says, American football is complex. It's a real thinking game, whereas rugby is just brutal. Yeah, the thing with American football is that it's the ultimate team sport. Each position has a completely different job from another. So in order to really get the full experience with football, you've got to know what your nickel corner, what responsibility your nickel corner has in a cover 2 defense, but also not just out of a nickel defense, but also out of a. Also, I forgot. I was going to say, that's the link right there. But anyway, not just out of the nickel defense, but you got to know how that changes when the defense switches from a base 3-4 to a base 4-3, or if it switches to a base 3-3. So you got to know what each player's responsibility is going to be on each play in order to really get the full experience out of football. So they're really thinking games. You can't just waltz into it and see what's going on. But anyway, I'm going to end the stream there because we will go on forever. Thank you all for showing up. I'm going to look for the Bratz movie. Join the Criticalist group. Follow me on Criticalist. Follow all the employees on Criticalist. And anyway, that'll do it. We'll see you later.